Hi guys, today I'll be reviewing the film Homebound. This is a Hindi language film that has taken Western film festival circuits by storm. When you see the name Martin Scorsese under executive producer for an independent film, you know this is going to be quality, and Homebound really matches this. Set in northern India, Shobit and Chanda are the best of friends who both experience discrimination, one based on his historic position under his caste, the other based on his religion of Islam. And both are desperate to move away from this position of inequality and provide the best for their families. As the COVID pandemic hits, their brotherly friendship is strengthened as they both try their best to survive both physically and economically. Homebound made its debut at the Cannes Film Festival in the Un Certain Regard category and has been selected as India's official submission for Best International Feature Film Academy Award. In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of the film, followed by 5 interesting talking points, and then look at how well it could do in the Oscar race. So let's roll and review that film. If you're new to my channel, my name is Paul, and I review the best of world cinema, and I follow the race for Best International Feature Films, with countries selecting their submission to the final winner. Homebound is based around the New York Times article called Taking Amrit Home, and it's about 2 friends who have to travel miles and miles on foot in order to go back to their families during lockdown. The film starts with Shobad, a Muslim, and his best friend Channan, who is from the Untouchables class, and both have huge aspirations to join the police force to in part remove the inequalities and discrimination that their families have previously experienced through past generations. However, bureaucratic delays and tough competition to get into the police force means that both have to start looking for alternative employment. Shobad ends up working in a sales company, and despite the supposed equality, he is required to continuously submit additional paperwork or proof of identity or proof of lack of criminal records in order to progress his career there. Chandan has ambitions to go to college and study business. He meets the girl of his dreams. However, he doesn't really fit in. And due to an accident involving his father, he has hefty health bills he has to pay. So he travels miles to work in a factory, living in a multiple occupied bedroom with other men. And when Shobit receives so much comments and jokes about being Muslim in his workplace, he's had enough, and he follows Chandan to rekindle their best friendship and earn a bit of money. The work in the factory is extremely challenging, and when the pandemic hits, it becomes even more challenging as the factory cannot stay open and there is no state support for unemployed people. They therefore make the decision to return home despite it being thousands of miles away, and there is a limited amount of transport that can take them there, therefore resorting for these 2 young men to travel home during lockdown on foot. So here are 5 talking points about the film Homebound. Number 1 is how it approaches inequalities that exist in India. There is supposedly legislation that prohibits discrimination based around caste. However, it still happens today, and the film reflects this. So, for example, Shandon avoids putting what his caste background in and getting additional support or positive discrimination as a result of it, because he wants to be treated like everyone else. While Shobit has to experience people's jokes and comments about his religion, and it really comes to the fore when they watch India versus Pakistan, and he is not seen as Indian because he is a Muslim. This film feels like it's putting inequalities and discrimination under the microscope, and I think that's an extremely brave thing to do, especially as the direction of Indian politics at the moment. Number 2 is the demonstration of brotherly love and male friendships. These 2 main characters are the best of friends, and they are never in competition with each other. They're never particularly aggressive with each other, but they show that love for each other without it ever becoming a sexual thing. They are extremely tactile with each other. They will hug each other. And I think this is a real rare thing in cinema today, is to show these sort of bonded relationships. This film provides such a positive approach to masculinity. Number 3 is the representation of the COVID pandemic. Now, most films that have portrayed the pandemic have either gone down the science fiction post-apocalypse route, or they have been shot during the pandemic, so therefore have incorporated social distancing and whatnot. This film is perhaps one of the first that is post-pandemic that looks back directly of the impact of the disease and the state approach to try to eradicate it. It is perhaps critical of the Indian approach. Without any state support for workers, factories were closing, the workers were often miles away from home without the option for transport to take them home. So there's a real concern that they were just going to starve and die. This is the first film I've seen that really provides an analysis of how the pandemic was handled, while also having some distance from the pandemic as well. Number 4 is the use of melodrama. Now, normally I do find melodramas off-putting. This film manages to really balance effectively a light tone of melodrama. There is emotive music at times. There is purposely playing on the narrative to really play on your heartstrings, but it never feels overdone, and all it does is contribute to the film, and that's really done really subtly and effective. And this is an example of when melodrama can really boost a film rather than take you out of the film. And number 5 is the cinematography. Now, this is a really beautiful and sun-kissed film, and in particular, one of the most beautiful elements of the cinematography is these overarching shots, which are obviously done by drones or something, where you can see the extent of people, and there is almost like a dance to it, like you would see when you see a herd of ants walking through, and it creates these really beautiful cinematic visions. And this reminds us of how big India is in terms of population, but they use this in such a beautiful tone. So overall, I think this is a really beautiful film that touches on masculinity, friendship, the COVID pandemic, and societal inequalities that exist in India today. I would therefore give Homebound 4 stars. Homebound is India's official submission to the 98th Academy Award for Best International Feature Film, and I would say it's one of my favourites. Out of the 10 I've seen so far, I would rank it 3rd. Despite India having some of the best and most renowned cinema auteurs ever, as well as a booming Bollywood industry, India have always underperformed at the Oscars, and I think it's their time to shine. India are ranked as the 32nd most successful country at the Oscars in the category, and this is due to their 3 Oscar nominations: Mother India, Salon Bombay, and 2001's Lagan. In the last 10 years, India are ranked 35th because they've only had 1 shortlisting for the last film show, which was controversially selected over RRR, which happened to win Best Song that year. Identity, language, and politics has often featured in India's selection, which perhaps means they have not always sent the most likely to do well in the category. And I think this year they've actually chosen the right film, despite the fact it's been censored while playing in India multiple times. It's an extremely accessible film. It plays the heartstrings really well, and it has a really important message. So it would not surprise me if it manages to make that shortlist. It will definitely be in competition to get a nomination, but we will see whether it's successful or not. Have you seen Homebound? If you have, put in the comments below. What did you think? And do you think it could get an Oscar nomination for India the first time in 24 years? If you like this video, please do like it and subscribe to Global Film Pool for more news and reviews for Best International Feature Film Academy Awards. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.